People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube, people are elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog is located PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Ooh. And today is International Women's Day. So I just want to say Happy International Women's Day to everyone that happens to be female. Yep. That includes moms, teenagers, little kids that are going to be women someday, and full-fledged women, and us older girls. Yeah. Happy Women's Day. Wear your crown. Whether it's a flower or an actual tiara or a butterfly, blingy bling on my butterfly. Yep. Or whatever makes your boat float. There are people that like hearts. Put a heart on your head. Put flowers up there. I chose a butterfly because I am People of the Purple Butterfly. And do something for yourself, whether it be a pedicure, a manicure, a visit to Starbucks to get your favorite treat. There's this one restaurant in town called the Root Beer Stand. They have been closed for months. Yesterday was their opening season, and today they got good deals on all the treats in there. And they tell you, go get yourself a root beer float. Unless they have sugar-free root beer, that leaves me out. Because, I got my A1C down at 6.2, and when they rechecked it, it's still 6.2. She said, hey, Kay, you didn't lower any, but you did up it, and you stayed at the same level, and that's still a good level, so don't worry about it. So, yeah. So, I know the last thing I should do is go to the root beer stand and get a double float. Because that is exactly what I would order, a double float. Not just a float, a double. I do that with coffee too. I don't get just a cup of coffee or I get a venti, and they came out with a Trenta. So if I'm ordering in person or online, I get a Trenta, which is 30 ounces compared to 24 ounces, which is the venti. But I don't do small coffee. I do the biggest thing. When I was drinking Pops, I wouldn't get like a little 12 ounce. I would get a 24 ounce or a 2 liter, whatever. Go big or go home. And then I've been hanging out with the Kim Blandino trial. That guy got some issues. He's funny as hell, but he got some issues. I mean, let's put it this way. His original complaint, he got a traffic ticket. It cost $50 because he is a sovereign citizen, or people that think they know the law better than, the lawyers, the courts, the judges. He basically took a $50 ticket and turned it into the possibility of 10 years in jail by sending a threatening letter to a judge. If you're going to threaten somebody, especially in writing, you don't put threats in writing anyway. But if you're going to threaten somebody, you don't threaten an officer of the court. Duh. So then, he tried to have every judge, every ADA, every prosecutor, everybody associated with his case recused or thrown off the bench. His own lawyer was trying to withdraw, so forth and so on, because, he didn't want to cooperate. So, it was just much. So, finally, months later, they decided, first of all, let's give him a competency test. And he passed. I was shocked, but he passed. So, yeah. So, he's competent to stand trial. And then he insisted on representing himself. You know, they say those who represent themselves have a fool for a client. Yeah, he fits that. So then they took away his right to represent himself because he kept, shooting himself in the foot. And even though he's represented by an attorney, he kept stopping the attorney from doing things. When they were discussing letting him out on bond or whatever, I object. So you want to stay in jail. Well, the last 2 days, they, against his attorney's advice, of course, gave him the right to testify on his own behalf. And since he wanted to represent himself, and they didn't let him because they knew what was coming because of the dramatics he did for the last year, he gets on, and instead of testifying, he's trying to try the case from the witness stand. So, of course, almost everything is said irrelevant. You can't testify on stuff that other people have testified to. You are not the prosecutor. You are the witness. You're the defendant, blah, blah, blah. And on the witness stand, he kept admitting to different crimes. He had already basically told his lawyer, don't stop me from testifying, don't sanction me, blah, blah, blah. The lawyer can only do what the client tells him. So basically, he put a nail in his coffin. And then he put a nail in his coffin. Then he put another nail in his coffin. And then the ADA crossed and recrossed and redirected, and he kept admitting to different felonies. Over a $50 parking ticket. In fact, I'm finna go because they finna show the replay, because when it was live, and well, it might still actually be live because this is going on 7. They're 4 hours behind, so they might be wrapping up the case now, but it's in closing arguments. This guy, go to Law Talk with Mike on YouTube. There's also Natalie Lawyer Chick, Arty's Corporate Fiction. Everybody's covering it. If you are a lawyer chicklet, which is what Natalie calls her followers, or you are a law nerd, I'm both. But Law Talk with Mike, first of all, the guy's funny. He's a lawyer, so he breaks down what's going on, but he's hilarious, and he don't know he's hilarious, and that's what makes it fun, And he finds the stuff that the legal people do fascinating. So when they say something, he'll be like, I will be objecting all day long. And he's reacting to the screen. And when he reacts, it's fun for us. When Natalie does it, and she reacts to the videos and everything, she has faces that will floor you. She'll be like... And then there's Debbie Davis. Look up Debbie Davis. She's in Judge Middleton's court, 3B. I should put links to all this. But Debbie Davis is an ADA from somewhere in Michigan. Springfield, Michigan. Centerville, Michigan. And she guests on Law Talks with Mike's channel, and she guests on Natalie Lawyer Chick's channel a lot. But she has faces too. But she's trying the cases. Some things that, people might be reacting to or whatever, and they'll ask her about it, and she'll sit there and go, because, she's the ADA, so she's not allowed to, give away certain details because, hello, you might compromise somebody's rights or whatever because she's the ADA. And if one of the people that she's trying happen to be, on this same court venue or whatever, she can't open her mouth and say anything. But when you watch her in the actual court with Judge Middleton, and these defendants do some pretty wild things, she basically, it's like, you could tell she wanted to say, stop talking, you're digging yourself in deeper, or something, but she can't. So she eye rolls. Or basically, her face speaks volumes when her mouth doesn't. So I'm finna go watch that. Well, first I'm going to fix myself something to eat. Something decadent. So I'm thinking beef and broccoli or better cheddar brats. Yeah, better cheddar brats with a salad maybe, you know, and some vanilla espresso because I have vanilla syrup and I have a Keurig that is capable of brewing espresso. So maybe a double shot because I don't do anything little. Anyway, I thought I'd share that. Me and my daughter was going to do a live, but her day went a different way. The baby was super active. She's on the go now because, you know, entrepreneur life. So basically when a client says, hey, can you come by and do this, this, and this, go get that money. So, you know. So she's off doing somebody's pedicure and their nails. And I thought about making a resin sculpture, but yeah, I'm kind of, well, I'm in a low energy cycle these days, so I'm kind of not on that. But I think I will set everything up. I have this African head or Afro head mode for like a plaque. I'm thinking, I finally figured out what I want to do with the hair of it. So I just got to decide on the color or whatever, but I'm going to set it up the way I want it. Choose the color or the format or whatever, and then let it sit there in, you know, a designated spot, so that way when I'm ready to work on it or willing to mix up some resin and put the respirator on all that, I can. Didn't this come out great? In the meantime, I have one bundle and a quarter bundle left. So I'm thinking I'm going to, because my hair is braided up under this, I'm thinking I'm going to crochet some braids because it is crochet hair. And if nothing else, I'm going to add a little more hair here. Not as baby hair, just, I think I brought the size, didn't bring the size down far enough, so this last little bit of lace, I'm just going to completely cover it. So that way, there's hair everywhere. Now, that might mean, because that's straight hair, that I have to, you know, part it off, re-braid that part, re-dip it, so that way the curl pattern matches. Or I could just dip it in some hot water as, you know, a single wig. When you dip a curly wig that you set with hot water or steam process, and you don't braid it or you don't put rollers on it, and you just keep dipping it in the hot water, it straightens it out. So it'll be a straight wig. And then I can go ahead and do what I'm going to do and then reset it into this pattern or wear it straight. But I know me. It'll be curly again. Because I don't really do straight hair. It simply does not look right on me. When I used to be a teenager and I permed my hair, it just didn't look right on me. People go, that's an interesting look. Something's wrong with it though. Yeah, the thing that was wrong with it was, even though it was straight, it would fluff out. And I see people all day long flatten iron their hair, trying to get it as flat as possible and as straight as possible. And then they turn around and complain about volume. Well, my hair, when it's straight, is volume. Volume is, you know, and I like my hair with volume. I like my hair curly. I like my hair the way God made it. So even when I make a wig, the first thing I did is, you notice, I put a widow's peak in this sucker. Because I have a widow's peak. It literally looks like the texture of my natural hair. The purpose of the wig was not to be someone different. It was just to give myself some options. Like when it's time to go somewhere and my hair is not where I need it to be, I don't have to worry about styling it or whatever. Just boom and, you know. So yeah. So that's been my International Women's Day. I spent time with friends. I spent time with family. I spent time with grandson. I played in my hair. I put on my butterfly. And now I'm finna put on the feed bag and eat something yummy. And watch some videos and see if the Kim Blandino trial finally came to a close. But the way this guy talks, I'm thinking, yeah, they're going to be doing closing arguments for a week if they get this guy any more opportunities to talk at all. The jury has been struggling not to fall asleep. Because, you know, if you fall asleep during the middle of a court case, they will call a mistrial. I was on jury duty, well, 4 times now. You know, they say, oh, if you do jury duty, it's unlikely they'll call you back. Yeah, that's what I thought the first 2 times. And then I had a stroke. I was still having issues with this side of my body. A walker. They got steps at the courthouse. I was having all kinds of issues. It took me 20 minutes just to walk down the hallway to get to the jury room. I fully expected them to go, no, you're not fit for jury duty, and send me home. No, I had to do jury duty that time too. And then a year after that. But, you know, and they kept doing the voir dire and sending me back to the box. And then you go back, you know. And basically, nobody would choose me for jury duty. The one person that chose me was like, okay, do you speak any languages? Yeah, 5. Do you do this? I answered all the questions. They chose me. And then, while we're in the middle of this trial, one of the jurors was like, and yeah, the judge, you know, fussed at him about that. And then the next thing you see, instead of, and they declared a mistrial. So either they had to do a whole new trial or they let the person go. I don't know, because they excused us. So I know if the jury falls asleep on the Kim Blandino trial, they're going to do all this all over again. And nobody wants that. So basically, I wish the jury much coffee, Red Bulls, chocolate, caffeine, monsters, whatever it takes to stay awake. So that way they can do their deliberations and go home, because they don't want to be there either. But in the meantime, while he's droning on and on and on and on about, you know, stuff, and, you know, because he's an older man that talks like this and blah, blah, blah. And he thinks he's sounding very, very smart. He keeps doing stuff really, really stupid, like admitting to felonies. But basically, when you're watching it, if you're in a courtroom, that's dull as hell. But if you're watching it on a live feed and someone's making comments and there's the chat box or whatever, it's highly entertaining, because when the guy says something stupid, everybody calls him out on it. The jury can't hear it, the lawyers can't hear it, the judge can't hear it, and Kim Blandino certainly can't hear it, but we be having a good time. So I'm finna go do that. So anyway, this has been International Women's Day 2022. So happy International Women's Day. I usually say Happy Women's Day, but apparently now, instead of Women's Day. Now there's an International Women's Day, which is different from Women's Day. So there's apparently two different dates. So either way, happy International Women's Day. And happy Women's Day in case you watched the video later on Women's Day. So, yeah. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. This has been People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located at purplebutterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Bye now.